Destiny Gundam is here with GD04 along with the Minerva Squad trait. The overall archetype focuses on the purple strategy that has a ton of recursion back from the trash to play units or grab resources back over and over. The early game recursion is mainly with Impulse Gundam that can play its various forms back from the trash, and Force Impulse can grab anything that you need within the archetype when it's destroyed, and eventually play out Destiny Gundam and pair with a pilot as you attack to spawn out even more units. That way in the late game you can constantly have bodies out to keep attacking and pressuring against your opponents in order to win games. This deck can be built with cards mostly from the ST09 starter deck, being Destiny Ignition, along with a couple from GD04. I talked about 3 different variations that you can build this deck, one being the mono purple, and then secondary with purple white, as well as purple red. In the end, I decided to go with purple white just because I prefer its overall consistency in order to help me get there, alongside with the white blockers package, which will start with the deck profile with our level 3 units. And of course, you have to play the 4 copies of the LR Impulse Gundam from ST09. Like I mentioned before, this is the main way to bring out your other Impulse forms back from the trash, whether it be Sword Impulse, Blast Impulse, or Force Impulse at any stages of the game. By resting 2 resources and bomb decking this unit, you can even cheat out Force Impulse or Blast Impulse Gundam as soon as you hit the level 4 curve. Otherwise, this is still a fantastic unit to see during all courses of the game, even in mid and late stages once you have a trash built up. As for the rest of the level 3, since I'm going with the white blockers engine, I'm playing 3 copies of Gundam Lefrith and Rick Diaz. And now for level 4s, I'm playing 3 copies of Sword Impulse Gundam from ST09. You generally want to deploy this card back from the trash, whether from Impulses or Destiny's effect, so that it can destroy the enemy unit that's level 3 or lower. Other than that, its 4-2 stats gives you a lot of raw attack power. As for the other Sword Impulse Gundam, I'm playing 2 copies of the one from GD04. Generally, when you play this card out, you can deal 1 damage to itself, and if you do, you get to rest down the enemy unit that has 3 AP or less, which this effect is really good at resting down the enemy units to clear the way for your attacks. And now for level 5s, of course, you must play the 4 copies of Force Impulse Gundam from ST09. It has a simple when destroyed effect that lets you grab anything within the archetype, being the Minerva Squad trait unit, from the trash back to your hand, as long as it doesn't have the Force Impulse Gundam in its name, just so you can't loop itself over and over. That way you can pick up Impulse Gundam if it ever was destroyed in the early game. Otherwise, your main target would be Destiny Gundam to ensure that you have access to your boss unit. As for Blast Impulse Gundam, I'm playing 3 copies of this card. It is just a simple blocker that has a lot of attack power with 5-3 stats, making it very good to take down most enemy units, whether you're attacking or blocking with it. And then to round up for the rest of the level 5s, I'm running 4 copies of AO Strike Gundam from ST04. Since our white engine heavily focuses on blockers, that is exactly what we need to defend ourselves until we get into the late game, and whenever we pair it with a level 4 or higher pilot, we always get to bounce the enemy unit that has 4 HP or less. And just to jump ahead a little bit, yes, we are playing Kira along together with this as well. And speaking of Kira, as we get into our level 6 units, I'm playing 2 copies of the Freedom Gundam from ST09. And as long as we have a friendly base in play, it gets suppression so that we can deal 2 checks at the same time into enemy shields. That way, it's also a source of damage that we can utilize to help close games even faster. And now for level 7, where we have our main final boss unit of the deck, which certainly there is Destiny Gundam, which I'm playing 3 copies of. I have tested it with 4 copies before, but generally once you're able to get the loop combo of recursion again and again, you only really need to see 1 for the entire course of the game. Of course, the sooner you see it, you want to play out on the curve so that you can set up for the following turn as you attack to play out bodies back from the trash, since you do have to pay the resource cost for them, which is why the more resources you got, the bigger bodies you can spawn back out. Also, itself has built-in high maneuver, which it can't be blocked, making it very good as you attack into enemy units for trades or even into their bases and shields. In the late game stages, my priority is always trying to play out Force Impulse Gundam back from the trash. That way, if Destiny Gundam ever gets destroyed, I can always use Force Impulse to grab it back when it's destroyed as well. And if you haven't noticed by now, that is exactly how you loop both of these cards in the late game constantly. I also want to quickly mention how I absolutely love the art of this card, where even if it's just the regular art, it definitely brings me nostalgia back in the day, because Destiny Gundam is one of the model kits I built when I was a kid. And speaking of which, if you haven't done so yet, make sure to get your Weapon Master merch on the AVAULT store as well, which we got the playmat right here with a deck box, binder, and sleeves too. So make sure to check out the full collection as well, which I greatly appreciate the support. And now back to the deck profile with the pilot cards, which we got the most important pilot that can link with all of our purple units, which I'm playing 4 copies of Shin Asuka. It has a raw stats of 3 AP, but gives 0 HP. And the core idea is to get as much AP as possible so that I can always make sure to take down the enemy unit, even if it causes you to destroy yourself. And the playstyle of how these cards work together just reminds me exactly of how the show works, where Shin keeps coming back over and over and over when it's getting beaten down. Aside from that, you want to mainly pair it together with any Minerva Squad unit, because as you attack, you can set one of your resources active. That way, it makes it easier to pay the cost for playing back anything from the trash with Destiny Gundam, or generally just to play additional cards during your own turn. For the secondary palette, which I briefly talked about earlier, of course, gotta be playing the 4 copies of Kira so that we can link together with our AO Strike and Freedom. Like always, it's just really good for trading as we attack to -2 AP onto the enemy unit. That way, it increases the likelihood of our units to survive battles as they attack. Command cards, I'm playing 4 copies of Overflowing Affection, which is just crucial for the deck to help you cycle and draw. Being able to choose whatever card that you want to trash from your hand is really important to help you set up exactly what you can play back out with Impulses or Destiny Gundam's effect. And I'm also playing 2 copies of Unforeseen Incident just to further reduce the enemy unit's AP to increase our survivability, which you notice that anything in the purple package have really low health. And now let's talk about base cards, which I'm running 4 copies of Minerva, which is another method to help us set up cards that we want to have in the trash. Aside from that, being able to look and place the other card back to the top of your deck really helps plan out the following plays that you can execute. And last but not least, I also included 1 additional base card, which is going to be Archangel. Not only it's really great to help synergize with our blockers to help them restand after attacking if we ever do so, but it's also there to play as an additional base card so that it can help increase the efficiency of reaching the requirement for Freedom Gundam to get suppression. Tech choices and other cards that you guys can also swap into this deck, aside from Rick Diaz that has 3/3 stats. As the low-end blocker, you can also choose to include Flat Militia from GD04, which is basically another Gundam Lefrith if you ever value more health. There's also the regular Strike Gundam from STO4 as another avenue to help you draw and pitch cards if you really want to set up even faster. Since we're playing Kira, you can also include Store Strike Gundam, which is really good at bouncing lower level units back to the hand to counter against any aggro-based strategies, which I have considered taking out the GD04 Sword Impulse for this Sword Strike instead. And lastly, another way to counter against lower level units, there's also Graceful Demeanor, which is really good against aggro-based decks, really great for bouncing tokens as well, and also bouncing low level blockers if the opponents ever play them. If you guys want to learn more different ways to build this deck, make sure to check out my new decks video, which I talked about the mono purple as well as the purple red build with my initial theories too. Combos and how to play the Destiny Gundam deck with the white blocker package. Starting with your mulligan hand, cards you want to see and being able to play out early are going to be Overflowing Affection, trash away the cards that you want to set up with the different various impulses, Gundam Lefrith, Rick Diaz. Set up your blockers to stop your opponents from attacking into you, otherwise establish your base card with Minerva to also help you set up your trash, and then go into Impulse Gundam when you can. You can go for early chips and attack with it, or if you ever have extra 2 resources to use, that's when you can bottom deck it and bring out your higher level Impulse Gundams. At the same time, use AO Strike and Freedom to continue blocking and stabilize yourself into the game, and eventually go into Destiny Gundam alongside with Shin Asuka, which can be linked together with any of your purple units to begin attacking. Generally, when it comes to this deck, you won't be able to do much until you reach level 2, so this is where you want to begin using your Overflowing Affection to draw cards and trash away the cards that can potentially be played back, such as Sword Impulses, the 2 different ones, Blast Impulse, otherwise even Force Impulse too. Or at the same time, set up your Minerva to filter and trash more cards. So these are the normal plays that you can really do at level 2, and then once you get to level 3, you want to make sure that you start establishing your blockers, whether it be Lefrith or Rick Diaz, whatever you can. That way you can stop your opponent's attacks. If not, Impulse Gundam is fine as well, because what you can do once you get to level 4 is you can attack with it if it's clear. You want to make sure it doesn't get destroyed, because once you have these cards in the trash, you can use 2, bottom deck it, and play any of your impulses. And the neat thing, like I mentioned before, is that you don't need to even meet the level requirements. So you could play out the STO9 Sword Impulse to destroy something that's level 3 or lower, the GD04 to deal 1 damage to itself and then rest an enemy unit, Blast Impulse to set up a big blocker, or otherwise the greatest value is actually having Force Impulse so that in the following turn you can start attacking as well. And if Force Impulse ever gets destroyed, you can always grab pieces back from the trash. And then in the mid stages of the game, when you reach level 5, play out AO Strike, link it with Kira to bounce something, and then make sure that you have this big block on the board Otherwise, you can use it to trade against your enemy units and then also give it -2 AP as you attack into it. Or alternatively, you can play like Force Impulse, link it with Shin Asuka, any form of impulse, again, use it to trade, set an active resource. If it gets destroyed, that's fine, because you can grab pieces back from the trash that you need, and you can play them back out. If you have that one extra resource, you can use another overflowing affection to continue the cycle. And as you start ramping up into level 7, you just want to make sure that you have access to Destiny Gundam in your hand. And when you get to level 7, this is where you enter into the late game, and like I mentioned before, that is where you can start playing out your Destiny. At the level 7 curve, you can link it together with Shin, and immediately play something back from the trash. Attack into enemy's unit, shield, or base, use the attack effect of Shin Asuka to set this resource active, and this is where you can play something for 2 costs from your trash immediately. So generally the options I like to go for is, again, the Sword Impulse from ST09 to pop something that's level 3 if there's anything targetable on the board. Otherwise, the other Sword Impulse is okay as well. Or you can even play it out the regular LR Impulse to potentially play out another Impulse Gundam in the following turn. Other than this aggressive play, there's a different approach to it instead. Because you can actually play out the Destiny Gundam, ensuring that it's safe, and don't attack it with it just yet, because you want to stagger it to the following turn. When you get to level 8, you have more resources to work with. At this point, you don't necessarily need to link it with Shin Asuka anymore because it can already attack itself. So you can even use one resource to pair Kira with it to go for a valuable trade, because that way you can attack with high maneuver, -2 AP, and then now use its when attacking effect of Destiny Gundam to actually play out a higher level cost body, such as Blast Impulse. But I always want to make sure that I set up Force Impulse Gundam instead. Because when Force Impulse Gundam is here, and if Destiny gets destroyed, Force Impulse Gundam will always be able to help me grab the Destiny Gundam back, so I always have a big unit and a body that I can constantly use this effect to revive over and over again, kind of completing like an infinite loop in the later game stages. And at the same time, because I saved up my Shin Asuka, I can then link it with Force Impulse to make an attack if I need to as well, and then set another resource active once again, and then have more cards to play. And now because I have 3 to protect either Destiny Gundam or Force Impulse from being attacked into. Once Force Impulse is on the board, like I mentioned, I don't mind if Destiny Gundam gets destroyed, because as long as Force Impulse stays there, and then it gets destroyed itself, grab Destiny back out, and eventually play it back out again in the following turns. And additionally, in the later game stages, bring out Freedom Gundam to either help you stabilize at level 6, or even if you bring out after Destiny, you can use its blocker to protect it, or begin attacking into your enemy shields aggressively to close games fast with suppression. Also, make sure to check out the Battle Vault video to see the mono purple version along with the Minerva Squad deck in action. And don't forget to grab the Weapon Master collection on the AVAULT store along with all other essential TCG accessories. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. You guys have a great day, great night, wherever you are. See you in the next video, and this is Vault, signing